Welcome everyone to On Your Own Reviews. Today's movie is going to be the Japanese movie that's taken everyone by storm in the East by racking up over $127 million at the box office, and also had the American critics going gaga for it so much that everyone wanted it to be nominated for the 2016 Best Animated Movie of the Year. The movie I'm talking about is called Your Name. And all I have to say about this movie is, have you seen Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock in The Lake House? That's this movie, just animated and with body switching. That's it. Bye. What? That's it? Yeah, unseen voice of God. That's it. What more is there to say about this?
You must review this animated monstrosity doll. Now go back there and finish the review.
Okay, unseen voice of God, I guess I have to talk about this ungodly, boring movie. This is the story. Your Name is a story about a guy and a girl who switch bodies at random every couple of days. And then how they deal with it and how they have to interact, and eventually going to the point of trying to figure out how they can help each other when they switch bodies. I.e., they're leaving each other clues by either leaving messages in their cell phones or writing on their arms, hands, and whatever not. This movie has a kind of interesting idea. The problem with it is it's been done before. This is literally The Lake House meets Freaky Friday. Animation is beautiful, and I think that's one of the reasons that a lot of people love this movie, where I just looked at it and go, I've seen this before. The two lead characters, I can't remember what the girl's name and Taka, the guy's name, they kind of have a cute relationship, and a lot of the jokes they do are funny and do work in this environment where they're switching bodies. Like, there's a pun when the guy switches to the girl's body every morning that they do, and it really is funny every time you see it. The problem with this movie is it's overly exponential when it goes into when the girl is in her body or whenever anyone is in her world, because there's just exposition dumps all over the place. I feel this movie is getting a huge pass because it's animated, and that's pretty much it. There's a scene where the grandmother is walking the girl, and I think it's her sister, who knows, because no one ever is being told what the relationships are, for 2.5 minutes. And all it is people walking and talking. Not even interesting, it's just some grandmother telling a story. This movie is insane like that. It gets better when the boy is in charge, when you go into the boys' world, because there's less explanation, there's less expository dumps, and there just seems to be him rolling through the motions, and that's the problem with this movie. There's too much exposition dumps. And then on top of it, you know, I will say this for the movie, when they get to the middle ground where the setup is already in place and you're just going back and forth between the girl and the guy switching bodies, that's actually pretty cool. That's really fun, and it's very interesting. The problem is this movie has editing problems up the yin-yang. 2 minutes into the movie, there's a freaking title. There's not even a title scene. There's a song as if this is a cartoon. As if this is the intro to this cartoon. Then 15 minutes later, there's another song that feels like it's just, you ended Act 1 and went into Act 2. This feels like an OVA that was just like, oh, you know what? We don't want this to be 4 parts. Let's put it all together. And that's what it felt like for a majority of the movie, except for the second act. The second act felt like its own act. Third act kind of winded down, and once again, it felt grounded when it was just the guy and what he was trying to do. This is a non-spoiler part. When I do the other reviews with Jeff and Raul and whoever else I do, they'll do spoilers. This is non-spoiler. This movie is poorly paced. Takes a while to get going because there's no reason for the beginning for you to see 2 days of the girl live her life. It felt long, and it was just like, when is this movie gonna start? By the beginning of the third act, and when you get to the twist in this movie, I was like, you know what? This movie wasn't exactly the Lake House. Now it is the Lake House. And if you've seen that Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock movie, which I think is a much better movie than this, you go, alright, I've seen this before. I have no idea why this is getting a critical pass. I think it is because it's from Japan and because it's animated. It's getting a huge pass. But I just looked at it and said, I've seen this before. And the third act, I will say this about the third act, not to get into spoilers, but if they would have went with what should have been the ending, I would have given this movie a lot of credit for having balls. But then they went into exactly where you knew it was gonna go, and it was just like, even though the ending was kind of sweet, and you know, I'm not gonna be cold-hearted and say I didn't like the interactions between the main characters, but it's just like, it felt like we've been here before, and it felt like we've done this better in other movies. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen a subtitled anime in all the way through in years, so I couldn't tell if the movie was that boring or my eyes were just getting fatigued from reading for 100 minutes. So I might have to watch the English dub, but Lord knows I'm not paying in the theaters to see it, to differentiate. And it just had, and in the ending I was calling BS at the end, because something happens where you go, okay, how did it happen? And it's never explained, and you're supposed to let it go. I walked out of this movie, and as soon as the final credits started rolling, and I was in a crowd full of Asian people and mostly Caucasian people, and everyone started clapping, the only thing I could say, shut up, go, you've obviously never watched The Lake House. It's an interesting idea of a movie, but that's all it is. They didn't execute, the editing was choppy, the transitions were poor, the story was done a million times before, and the exposition dumps were just annoying as hell. I'll give Your Name a 4.1. Unseen Voice of God. Can I finish this review now?
Yes.
You crack me up. Until next time, people.